Good evening, my sugar wookers. Y'all come on in the building. Let's chat about how do you feel about going Dutch. The reason I chose this topic tonight is because I was emailed and asked my opinion on it. So I'll just wait until y'all get into the building. Hey, Miss Wanda Clayton, how you doing? I also came on StreamYard because my personal assistant told me in another video that I should start using my StreamYard. So I'm following directions. Hey Sting, how you doing? Thank you for the hearts. Hey Angela Brooks, how are you? So y'all saw the topic, which I was going to talk about the Federal Reserve Bank, as y'all recall. But I'll wait. She sounded like she really wanted to know our opinion on this, mine exclusively. So let me just kick back and let a few more of y'all come in. And then we'll discuss this. Hey, Lisa Hill, how you doing? Thank you for the roses and the hearts. I appreciate you. So, y'all write down, what do you think about going Dutch? I mean, some of us are still in the stage. This lady is actively dating. She's a middle-aged woman, approaching 50. She's I think around 47, 48 years old. And apparently, this was the first time that someone had approached her about going Dutch in her dating, all of her dating years. So, what do y'all think? Or do you want me to give my feelings first and then y'all express y'all's opinion? Let me know. Okay. Well, let me express my opinion, how I feel about it. I feel that if I have to buy half and we're just dating, then that's what I will get, a half of a man, because that is what I accepted. Hey Jam Jam, how you doing? Sting says she doesn't mind going Dutch, but after dinner we going our separate ways. Okay, so it's more like a friendship thing with you, Sting. It's not even about a relationship. Hey, Miss Jackie Johnson, how you doing tonight? Miss Lily Franklin, welcome to Chatting with Ms. V. Okay, so I understand what Sting is saying. It sounds to me like this is not about a relationship with her. This is just a friendly dinner or just going out and doing going Dutch. Okay. Um, with me, I think, let me back up. I think the woman is, like I say, I know she's actively dating. And this question was asked to her about the guy who asked her to go on the date. No Dutch for me if we're being in a relationship. I feel the same way as you do with the relationship. Now, I do understand Sting was more on a friendship. So Sting is back and she says, no, it's different if we're in a relationship. Okay, so she reiterated again and she let us know the difference. This is not a friendship. This is a woman pursuing an active partner in a relationship. Hey, Homestyle, how you doing? Hope you enjoyed your travels today and had a nice time. I did, Homestyle, but I'm a little bit tired tonight. And I did unload all of those boxes. And y'all, I don't know what's good and what's bad. I know what I think is good, but not exactly sure what's bad. So maybe tomorrow morning, I got them all out of the boxes now and set up on the table, and we can take a look at it. I know of the ones that I have on the bench. are, in my opinion, what I'm going to take to have appraised. But the rest of the stuff, I'm thinking of people I can give it to locally where I don't have to pay postage on it. Um, the rest of it, take it down to the little shelter I go to all the time where I take my stuff and just let it be. Because personally, I'm not into a lot of whatnots. I got rid of that like almost 20 years ago. All them whatnots you got to take down off the shelf and dust and all that. I ain't about that life. Okay. I like big pieces. You dust it one time, you done with it. Taking all that stuff out and washing it. I'm done with that. That was in my previous years. Hey, Danya, how you doing? Great topic. Okay, well, tell me about it then, Danya. We kind of sidetracked there for a minute when Homestyle asked me about my day. Well, we back on topic now. Um, okay, Danya speaking to Jam Jam. So I just personally never wanted a man who could not take care of me. And I've never had a man, I thought back on this, who ever asked me to go Dutch with him. That has never happened. So chances of it happening now is very slim. Okay? Because I'm past that point in my life where I'm looking to be in a relationship with anybody, or am I trying to go out and just be with somebody just to be in a relationship and then you pay your part and I pay my part? No, at this point in my life, you ought to be retired, close to being retired, and you ought to have bank by now. So I wouldn't want to go nowhere with you if you don't have enough money to pay for my dinner. I just don't. And that's just who I am. Okay, let me see what you're saying. Sting is speaking to you, Danya. So the other thing is, in my relationships, I just chose to work because I always wanted my own. And I had a child that was totally responsible, I was responsible for. Even though her dad paid child support, we were divorced when she was 4. So, I had to think, okay, yeah, this man is paying, quite a bit of money for child support. Like I said, back in the 80s, I think it was 86 when we first divorced. Um, he was paying $800 a month. So that tells you what his salary was. But I never took the child support money and spent it on me. I kind of started a savings going and I just took care of her off of my salary because I knew that day was coming where she was going to want a car. She was going to want her driver's license and all these activities in school. And I just like didn't know if he would be around. I mean, he could have gotten injured and had to quit his job, or death could have come knocking at his door. Thank God it didn't. But you just don't know what's going to happen. And she's just 4 years old. So that's a like a long responsibility on the one parent, which was me. So that's the way I handle the child support. Now, a lot of women don't do that. They put the child support on themselves and give the child bare minimum. I can never say, or she can never say that she had bare minimum. Mm-mm. I just I didn't roll like that. So what I'm trying to find out, what is y'all's take? Sting has basically told me what her take is on it. So let me get into my chat and see what my chat is saying. Are y'all not talking to me tonight? Danya said this was a great subject, but she ain't elaborated on it at all. Hey, Miss Jackie Johnson, how you doing tonight? And Danya is speaking to Sting. So the topic, Jackie, I don't know if you noticed it or not, is how do you feel about going Dutch on a date? I'm still waiting on to hear what y'all got to say. Because that's basically my take on it. I just never wanted a man that couldn't pay for. If you asking me out on a date, then I feel like you ought to know if you going on a date, we going to dinner, you don't have enough money to take me to dinner. Well, why would you think I would want to go with you? Hell, I can buy my own dinner without being bothered with you. Miss Jackie Johnson says, I never had to pay for any dinner on a date. Me either, Jackie. I don't know if those type of men just didn't approach me or what was the case. But looking back, I tried to think about the entire um, my lifetime of dating since I think I was 18 when I actually started dating my freshman year in college. And even back then, no guy approached me talking about no going Dutch. When we didn't have anything, we were broke college students. um if you ask me out, then everything is on them. I feel the same way, Jam Jam. Hey, Miss Lily. Dutch, no, I can go by myself. I feel the same way, Miss Lily. I do. I just don't like that idea. It's almost like, okay, so what if this relationship goes forward and you still, you know, you going Dutch and the relationship is moving forward and you've actually fallen for this person, or maybe he's falling for you or y'all falling for each other, and let's just say it ends up in a real deal relationship and then he proposes to you. So don't you think that he's going to expect the same thing in a marriage to keep going Dutch? That's what you've been accepting the whole time. So why wouldn't he expect anything less? So you're gonna go half on everything. You're gonna go half on the house note, half on the car note. Now, the problem with that is, what if something happens to you? Well, when you are in this relationship, whether it ends up in marriage or not, where you can't work. So does he walk away then because you can't go Dutch? That's my question. That would have been my biggest fear with a man like that. Because you don't know what's going to happen. I was off my job several times. I got injured on the job, so I was off for a whole year. I got paid, but I didn't get paid like I was at work because I was on short term injury and went into long term injury. And it's not a full paycheck. Short term was when I went to long term, my check cut like from a person working shift work to a person working days. So if you had based your income on your check to make it from one payday to another, and say you were just still in a relationship and you weren't in a marriage, or maybe you settled for a man that didn't make as much money as you, he made less. How is he going to take care of the household and carry the responsibilities? So again, I never wanted a man who made less than me. I always wanted him to make more than me in case something happened to me. He could still take care of the bills in the household. Hey, LaDonna, how you doing? And you're speaking to everyone in the chat. So that's been my whole thing about the Dutch dating, uh, moving into a relationship where this man makes a phone call and he says, and then what if he makes the phone call and you don't know you going Dutch? It's never happened to me, so I don't know how I would feel if I got out there and it's time for him to pick up the check at the table and he says, "Oh, we are going Dutch." The hell we are. I wouldn't say nothing. I just get up, go to the bathroom, tell him I'm going to the bathroom, head in that direction and hit the door and be in my car and gone. And that's it. That's all. Because I'd never let guys come pick me up. I always met them there. So if anything went iffy, foolish, I got my own transportation. I can move around. I don't have to be there. Hey, Justice, how are you doing tonight? Miss Jackie Johnson is laughing. I don't know what part you laughing at, Jackie, but I'm serious. I'm going to hit the door on him. If he waits until we get to a restaurant, and this could go for any couples, girl, girl, boy, boy, girl, boy, it don't matter. Dutch is Dutch, okay? But I'm just telling you what Ms.V gonna do. She gonna hit the back door on you. Don't come out here expecting for me. You asked me out. I don't even know you. I didn't ask you to go nowhere with you. And don't even come here looking funny and dress inappropriate to go out. Because all of a sudden I'm going to get sick. Oh, I got a bad headache that just started. I was going to call, but I knew you were already on the way. Something going to happen. Stomach ache. I got the diarrhea. Something going to happen. I'm not going out there with you and let you embarrass me. Not me. You got me twisted. Jackie says she agree, Miss V. Um, hey, yo is in the building. Yo, how you think about going Dutch? What you think about it? Because these women over here, they ain't really going for this Dutch stuff. And the woman who asked me to talk about it has not come into the chat yet. And it was not under new management. So y'all don't even think it was her. It was not her. But I just don't, I had some questions for her. I was hoping she came into the chat because I did have questions for her as to, you know, you're, let's say, between 45, 47, 48 years old. Has this ever happened to you before? Have you experienced going Dutch before? These were my questions for her. And how did she feel about it? She asking me, how did I feel about it? I need to know how you feel about it. Because I'm telling you how I feel. And no. I just don't. I don't. Some things I just don't do, and that would be one of them. Because you already telling me you're not the type of man that I would be looking for in my life. No, I'm not a gold digger because I've always worked for mine until I retired. But still, I don't want no broke man that I've got to take care of just to be in a relationship. It's too many men out there. And like I always say, if fresh water doesn't work, then maybe try salt water. See if that'll work. We have options. We have choices. We choose these people in our lives. So that's your choice. Live with it. Miss Jackie Johnson said, I told you, Miss V, you remind me of my mother, born and raised in Louisiana. Oh, really, Jackie? I'm getting that a lot now. Um, One lady came into my chat after the live was over, and she said I reminded her of a relative so much until it's hard to even look at me. And I thought, wow, I got a look-alike out there. I think she said the lady was deceased too. And that's why she had a hard time because I reminded her so much of whoever this family person was in her life. Alex says she missed something. Okay, Alex, we were talking about the topic, would you go Dutch with a man? Is basically the topic. I don't know the exact words I put out there, but would you go Dutch on a date? Or have you gone Dutch on a date? And if you have, why? Okay, that's what we were talking about, Alex. And Miss Jackie Johnson says, amen. She's agreeing with me. I think personally it's a choice that you would have to make because I'm not you and you not me. I just know the type of lifestyle I've always tried to create for myself to not be without and not have. Like I say, that's why I've always worked. So irregardless to what the man had, I always had my own, where I didn't have to go to him and say, honey, I need X amount of dollars because I want to go get my hair fixed. I want to go to the mall when I leave. I want to get my nails done. No, I can do that for myself. Okay. If you're paying basically all of the bills, the house note, car notes, insurance, and all of that, then I need to not take your spending money from payday to payday. I need to have my own. That's the way I looked at it. And that's the way I operated. So I don't know if, to me, it worked. In all three marriages, it worked. And we came in the marriage like this. I knew what he made, he knew what I made. Um, we knew off the bat, we had already discussed it. If we were purchasing a home, because that's another thing I never did. You can't move in with me in my house. No. Mm-mm. That wouldn't be good for him or me. Because if I get mad about something and it's my house, I'm gonna tell you to hit the door. Man, once you hit the door, don't worry about coming back. So we needed our own place where we shared this house together, both names on this house. Because that's your biggest major purchase. And it wouldn't be good for me to move into his house because that's his house and it ain't gonna never be mine. And if he's been married before, I would always feel like I'm living in y'all's house where y'all live together. That's just me. It's no right, it's no wrong. It's no right or wrong answer to you in the chat. It's your personal lifestyle of what you would accept and what you wouldn't accept. Okay. Miss Jackie Johnson said, okay, wait a minute. I need to go up a little bit. Okay. Miss Thing says, if you can't feed me, I'm not getting into a relationship with you 100. I know that's right, Sting, because I ain't a big woman, but I do like to eat. The things I like to eat, I like to eat. And I used to could eat. The older I get, my appetite is not as big as it used to be, but I used to have a big appetite. That's why I had to stay moving and exercising and stuff, because I would have been a big woman, a short, big woman, if I had not been so active. And then I was always conscious of it. So if I started gaining weight and I got 10 pounds over my weight, it was time to shut it down. I had to cut back or I had to pick up on the exercise because I refuse to get to be a big woman. I'm too short. I'm only 5'5". So now I just couldn't. Miss Jackie Johnson is saying real talk. Alex is saying with a man, no, ma'am. Exactly. I mean, that's me. Y'all are feeling the same way. Sting says, when I met my husband, I was still in high school. He wasn't almost every day when I got home. He had been by and left me a little gift. Oh, now that's really sweet. He's showing you love. He's showing you. I got the typos. I understood what you said, Sting. Hey, Miss Alice Cooper, how you doing? Good evening, Miss V and beautiful people. Good evening to you, Alice. We're just over here doing fine. We're just talking about the conversation of would you go Dutch? Because this is what a person texts me, or no, she didn't. She emailed me and asked me, how did I feel about it? So I've already said how I felt about it. So I'm just here listening to what the people in the chat feel about it now. So Homestyle is saying it's a personal decision, and I agree. For me, if it's casual dating, it's Dutch. Serious relationship, he pays all. Okay. So the casual relationship would be more of a friendship, just getting to know people. Am I right, Homestyle, with how I'm interpreting what you just wrote? Okay, I was raised with an old school mother. A man needs to work and provide for his home. Yes, we were raised by the same kind of parents, because that's the kind of parents, that's what they taught me. Okay. My daddy always said, if you get with a man that can't do what I've already done for you, keep a roof over your head, transportation for you to drive, money in your pocket, then you selling for a man that's less than your father. And I always kept that in mind. If my daddy could do it, and it was more siblings than just me, I had four brothers and a sister and a mother. So if he's providing for all of these people, then I shouldn't accept a man that can do less than what my father could do for me. That's how I looked at it. Old school. Thankful for life. Good evening, Aunt TV and chat. Good evening, Nisi Pooh. How you doing? Okay, I got it. So that basically is my take on the whole thing. Hopefully she'll see the replay since she did not come into the chat tonight, because I'm not on my regular time. I usually come in at 7:30. Y'all know that. But by the time I unboxed all those eggs out there in that garage and then got cleaned up, came and got me a little bit to eat, then sit down, relax, it was after 8. So that's when I decided to come on. And I really had the other topic in mind about the Federal Reserve. So I guess we'll talk about that in the morning, because I finished the research that I could find on it. And it's not a lot on it. I don't know how much y'all found on it, but it's really not a lot of information out there yet. For this program to be launching July of this year, it tells you basically what it is and how it's going to work. But it's not detailed enough for me. Okay, Miss Bad and Bougie made it in the house tonight. Thankful for Life says, I'm doing well and I pray all is well on your end. And she is talking to me in the chat, I guess. Okay. Um, so that's basically all I wanted to talk about with the dating thing. Did anybody have the opportunity to even look at the reserve? What is it called? Fed Me Now, or Fed Now. Because if not, we will be talking about that in the morning at our coffee time. Because I think it's important that we start looking at this thing and seeing how it will affect us. And I can say this much, a lot of scamming is going to stop with that Fed Now program. A lot of business on Cash App and Zelle and all that, that's gonna seem, from what I research, is gonna become a thing of the past, because there's a lot of scamming going on with that. Yeah. So I didn't come on here to stay a real long time tonight. I'm gonna stay another couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna get in the bed and relax, because I had a full day today. From the time I came out here this morning at 10, I left home. I drove to Houston in part of the rain. It rained in some sections, other sections it didn't. Loaded up the truck. I mean, my car. I keep saying truck because I still think I'm driving a truck, but I'm not. I'm driving a mid-size SUV. But anyway, loaded it up, then got it home, unloaded everything, and put everything out on the table. I am going to come on tomorrow and let y'all see what was left. Y'all, it was a lot of pieces that was broken. I came home tonight getting it out the box and broke two of them myself. One fell off the table and one fell out the newspaper as I was unwrapping it. So that's two gone. And then what else I found out was that one of her sons had already come down and picked up boxes of the bigger eggs, the very large ones. So I think that he probably got the most valuable ones in there. I see some that, like I said, I'm going to have appraised, but a lot of that stuff, I'm going to just box it up and take it down there to the people. at the shelter because I don't want it. I don't want all them little pieces of stuff in there. I am not getting ready to be bothered with that. Um, if I got rid of stuff when I made my move that I had for a lifetime and just packing it in here just to pack it in here, no, mm-mm. I got rid of it. I gave it to people, or either I gave it to their shelter down there. I just don't want it. I don't want all that whatnot stuff all over the house anymore. I just don't. Um, Let me see what Sting is saying. My philosophy is if you can't do more for me than I can do for myself, why do I need you? That's a good philosophy, Sting. And I totally agree with you because I can do bad all by myself. I don't need no man to help me starve to death. That's a fact. Hey, loving me, Tracy. Good evening, and thank you for the roses. Sting is speaking to loving me, Tracy, and she's speaking back. Homestyle said, I did research some, but like you said, there isn't a lot of out there about it, Ms.V. No, I didn't see a whole lot, and I pulled up everything that I could find. So I would be able to at least let y'all know what I found. And for something that is going to be launching so soon, I just would think that there would be more information out there. But then we are dealing with the federal government. They move slow. Okay. But it may be more to come because this is just April. So we still have May and June before we hit July. So within the next 2 months, they need to be saying something. Jam Jam says, Miss V, you don't want to have to dust. No, mm-mm. I want to do as less as possible. I want to dust the pieces that I have, which are kind of big pieces, okay? Where I can just take the little duster and hit them and quit it, hit it and quit it on all the pieces. And dust the little shelves or wipe off the shelves and stuff and get the glass clean and, run with it. And I don't want to spend all day like I used to have to spend all day cleaning house. I don't want to do that. Mm-mm. I can find a whole lot of other things I want to do versus dusting 200 little pieces of stuff that don't really mean nothing to me. No, ma'am, I don't want to do it. Um, Miss Brenda Turnipseed is in the house, and welcome to Chatting with Miss V. I don't believe you've been over here. If you have, welcome back. And if you haven't, you're welcome tonight. Any night you choose or any day you choose to come in, you say hi. So this is the breakdown. You make a transaction from your bank. Okay. It goes through the Fed now. Then paid for your transaction. The government will track your movement. Exactly. That's what I found, Brenda Turnipseed. So now I have a question for you, Brenda. How do you feel like that will affect Cash Apps and Zales and PayPals and all of that stuff? Do you think that people will go to the Fed Now program versus using the Cash Apps and all that? Because I'm not comfortable with Cash Apps. I'm not at all. Tying it to my bank account and having to remember to untie it and I just don't like it. I don't. Um, Alex said, "Good subject, Miss V." Hi, Lois. How you doing this afternoon? Tonight, whatever it is in your neck of the woods. Homestyle say, Brenda, that's what I got from it also. Well, we can go ahead on and talk about it since we done got on the subject. Why not? Okay, let me see what little bit I found about it. So, the Fed Now service is what it's called. It will be launching July 2023. It's instant payments with the Fed Now service. The Fed Now service is a new instant payment infrastructure developed by the Federal Reserves. This allows financial institutions of every size across the United States to provide safe and efficient instant payment services. So, what they're saying there is it's going to be safer than using these PayPals and Zelles and Cash Apps. Okay? That's what I gathered from that. Let me see what Miss Turnip Seed is saying. Um, all the other pet sources will no longer be available. Okay, they will not be available after July, Homestyle. Miss Turnipseed is saying you have no choice. It's going through them anyhow. So the PayPal, the Zelle, and the Cash App will go through the Federal Reserve. So in other words, they're taking over, like I thought, of how we will do transactions and how we will spend our money and basically becoming a cashless society. Am I right? Talk to me. Okay, so the other thing that I found was what is the difference between the Fed now and real time payments? Well, when it comes to the transactions, the amounts, the federal now has set a lower transaction limit of 500,000 instead of in real time 1 million. Because they used to would reserve up to $1 million if you dealt with a Federal Reserve Bank, one that was with the FDIC. But now they're lowering the limits to 500,000, which is 500,000. The main difference between the system lies in the governance of the RTP, which is the real-time payments, is operated by a consortium of large banks. Fed now is operated by the Federal Reserve Bank. That's the difference in real-time payments and the Federal Reserve Bank. Miss Jackie Johnson say the electronic payment is faster. Yes, it is. Okay. Miss Turnipseed says yes, tracking. Okay. Good evening, Miss Geraldine. How are you doing? Right now, we're talking about this Fed Now service program and trying to see if we all are on the same accord of what we understand about it, which is not a lot of information out there. So the federal now has been built to potentially serve a number of businesses, consumers, and the government. For businesses, the Fed now can streamline payments to customers, consumers, and employees, as well as speed up the B2B transactions, which is the bank to bank transactions that is referred to the BTB. So it is faster. Somebody had already said that it was faster. Uh, who said that? I saw it earlier. I'm not sure, but somebody said it in the chat. Mr. Geraldine said, good, and you thanks to ask for asking Ms.V. I'm good, just a little tired today, but I'm good. Homestyle, it's a program that will control your spending, in my opinion. I felt the same way, Homestyle. And the government will be all in your business of your transactions and your money. I even thought of something else. Now, I don't know, this could be a fact, but this was just something that I thought of. It will also control the dope dealers on the street who are now using Cash App, PayPals, and Zelles, and you pick up. They'll have control over that because in order for somebody to order anything, it'll have to go through them and they will be seeing the transactions. So that may be a little knock on the door. So that means that the druggies out there have got to get a little smarter now. After July, are they going to be picked up? That's just what was going through my head when I started thinking about this. Let me see. Loving Me, Tracy Anderson, how are you today? Cash App supposed to be done away with. You know, the man we invented Cash App was unleavened. Oh, he got killed. I did hear somebody said that he was he murdered? See, I remember somebody saying that a couple of days ago. And I just noticed I deal with a federal credit union. I've been dealing with them ever since I came to work out at Amico. But they use Zelle. You can acquire Zelle through them and use your Zelle through the. I've never done it because, like I say, I just don't really care for those Zelles and Cash Apps, and I never have PayPal's. Uh Um, Homestyle said, yes, it was. Okay. He was stabbed to death. Oh my God, Alex. I thought I heard that he was murdered. Now y'all are confirming it. Mr. Vetter, how are you doing this evening? Okay, so back to the Fed now. So at the most fundamental level, the service will provide interbank clearing and settlement that enables funds to be transferred from one account of the sender to the account of the receiver, much like most banking transactions do. They go from one to another in a near real time and at any time, any day of the year. So that's 24/7, 365 days a year, it'll be available. So that's a good thing. And I don't know yet, I don't know enough about it to really have a real opinion of it. I guess I'm going to have to wait and see how it really works and how many institutions, or if the institution that I bank with is going to deal with it. Since they are already a federal bank, what's going to change there is what I'm trying to figure out. By comparison, Fed Now is not subject to nightly, weekend, or holiday restrictions. It is available all hours of the day, every day of the year. It is important to note, though, that Fed Now transactions are limited to a maximum value. Fed Wire does not impose a limit, though one may be set by your own bank. So that's what I was just saying. I have to wait and see what kind of limits or what kind of changes is my bank going to do. Devetta says, doing good. I look for you early. Okay, y'all are talking to each other. Okay, all right. So there are also fees that I found that will be associated. I only found two, but I'm sure there will be more. Anytime you are transacting money, they're going to charge you for it. But it seemed like that the request for the payment is only 1 cent. So if I request money from the debtor, it's only 1 cent on that request. That'll be cheap. But the participation fee is $25 per month. So that could add up and get a little steep because we used to paying anywhere from $2 to $4 for ATM, and you talking about $25 a month. It's 12 months in a year. You do the math. I didn't do it. You do it and see what you come out with. That's pretty steep to use that service. So I don't know about that. Hey, Carla, how you doing? And then let's see, what else did I find? The benefits. I went to look, I asked, what are the benefits of Fed Now? And how is it characterized by the three qualities? Well, it's an instant transaction. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to be waiting on nothing to clear and everything because it's already cleared. When it's going through the federal government, the FDIC or whatever, they're not going to take it and hold it 3 to 7 days or even 10 days, some people, like they used to. Everything is going to be instant. So you'll have it at your availability 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That will be the availability of it. And last but not least, the major thing was the immediate confirmation of the payment for both sender and recipient. That's major. If you need money, let's just say you are out of the country and something happens and you need money fast, then it's going to be there as quick as I can make the transaction to you. No waiting or nothing. And that's usually your biggest nightmare, is losing a credit card in a foreign country. Not too many people use debit cards in a foreign country. You don't want to tie your bank account up in those machines over there. You don't know nothing about those country and those people and how they operate. So most major credit cards are accepted out of the country of the United States. I mean, if you have a MasterCard, if you have a American Express or a Visa, those three for sure. I'm not sure about Discover. I've never used Discover out of the country before, but I've used my MasterCard and my American Express out of the country with no problems. And MasterCard is just like the number one thing. It kind of heads up Visa in a lot of countries that's outside of the US. But that would be an easier way to track it too, because if you were on a credit card, you could dispute it. If you are on your debit card, you can't dispute nothing. They just got your money. I mean, the bank might can recoup it and they might can't, but on a credit card, they can. So that would be the safer way to do it. Miss Jackie Johnson says, I work in banking for 10 years. It was talked about going paperless in the future. I guess the time is coming. Yeah, Miss Johnson, like I said, we're a little bit behind here because when I was 21, I went to London, England, Paris, France, and Rome, Italy on that college program. And we were there for a whole quarter, which is 3 months. We spent very little money. So when we were exchanging our US dollars into pounds back then, when we got to Paris, it was francs back then. And then when we got to Rome, it was liras. I do believe all of them are accepting liras now, if I'm not mistaken. But back then, you had to exchange your currency every time you hit another country, and you lost. If you didn't exchange it before you left and you went to the next country, say for instance, I left London, I left Paris, I left Rome, and I hit New York. That was the first state I hit when I got back into the United States. And I exchanged my money in New York. I lost 3 times. From the first country to the second country to the third country, I lost on the rate of return. And it also depended on what the market was doing here in the United States that day. If the Dow was low, your rate of exchange is going to be low because your money is only worth so much. Usually, an American dollar is worth more in their countries than their money is worth here. But it's a lot to this, and I'm just interested in see how it's gonna pan out, and how they're gonna start the program. How soon will we get any information from our banks where we bank? Everybody might not start the program in July. When are you gonna start your program? I have a lot of questions, but y'all know I always have a lot of questions. Homestyle said there are pros and cons. Yes. Uh-huh. For one thing, the con to me is that the federal government is in your business. They know everything you doing in your household through the transactions you're making. Mm-hmm. And how soon will the dollar disappear and the coins? and you just go paperless? That's another question in my mind. Sting says $300 a year, Miss V. That's a lot of money. For transactions, that's a lot of money. Because I can run to my bank and get $100, $200, $300 out and make it last me. You know, I'm retired. I'm in the house. Once I have my groceries and my car filled up with gas, ain't much more I gotta buy unless I want to buy. So I can make $100 last me a whole week. I'm just in the house. My car's full of gas. I got food in the house. So there's no need for me to spend money and I don't have to. That's what I'm saying. But, it is what it is. We just have to wait and see. Like I say. And I also found one other thing that said it was 45 cents per transaction to be paid by the sender, including uh, the returns. So I was wondering then, is that 45 cents on top for each transaction, is what it said, on top of the $300 for the year? That's going to be pretty darn expensive. That's going to be like another bill. You're going to be paying a bill to spend your money. I think that's a con right there. That ain't no pro at all. Homestyle says, Brenda, my feelings exactly 100. Miss Jackie Johnson says, true. Well, that just seems to be a little bit expensive to me. So a fee of 1 cent for a request for the payment to be made. So you think 1 cent does not sound like a lot. But let's do 1 cent times a million people or 2 million people. You're starting to make money now, right? And it's millions of people in the world. It's millions of people in the United States. So that 1 cent may not sound like a lot per transaction, but to the person that's receiving it, it could be millions, depending on how many transactions are being made. I mean, some people may be making 2 or 3 transactions a day. That's 3 cents. Don't sound like a lot, but multiplied times a million. Okay. So now, the Fed now transactions are limited to a maximum value. So we already talked about that. Like it used to be $1 million that they would insure by the FDIC. Now they're saying it's only going to be 500,000. So that put another question in mind. Why did you lower the limit? Did you lower the limit because it's instantly, and if something goes wrong by you transacting so quick, you don't have to insure so much money? Up to $1 million, you can stop it at 500,000. It's just questions. I just got so many. I'm trying to see what y'all are saying. Y'all are still speaking. Miss Jackie Johnson says true. Feds were just, I don't know, just putting the feds in it. To me, I just never wanted people in my personal business like that. I always felt like your financial, your banking, your credit cards, anything dealing with your money was like personal to you and who you allowed to interact in that transaction, whether it be your husband, your sister, your brother, your mother, whoever. And that's just my take on that. But I am going to be changing the topic on this live. We're coming up on an hour. And it's because we talked about more than just the Dutch dating. So I'm just going to put out there, let's chat. Because we chatted about the Dutch dating as well as the bank reserve tonight. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you coming over tonight on the live stream. I hope the little lady who asked me that question does see it. Miss Homestyle says it's time for control. I think so. And they're going to have a lot of control over us, everybody. It's going to clean up the streets. And they're already showing you in a lot of states that with the dispensaries, I was shocked to death to see it in my little hometown in West Monroe, Louisiana, and in Monroe, Louisiana, the Bible Belt, they had dispensaries. Yes, in both twin towns, across the river in West Monroe and in East Monroe. And I thought, wow, this is different. I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought, having been raised there and brought up in that town, that they would go for that. They are open. Mm-hmm. Sure are. So I guess they would rather you get it from the dispensary than to get it off the street, because you don't know what you're getting off the street. And I'm seeing here in this area more little smoke shops and stuff are popping up with a lot of CBD and stuff there. And it's just like I can agree with it in a way, because if you're gonna smoke it, or if you're gonna gum it, or however you're gonna take it, it would be better to get it from the dispensary, where it's been grown in the right conditions, and you're not getting anything laced with anything else, because that is always the fear I would have out on the streets. What is this laced with on any drug? I mean, it could even be marijuana, and they have liquid drops of formaldehyde or anything in there. I just couldn't do it off the street. I don't care. You know the man you getting it from, but do you know the man he got it from? No. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all pulling up tonight. Thank you so much for coming in and having a little chat with me. We'll see each other back in the morning at 10 o'clock. Don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. And if at any time y'all want to talk about something, you are always free to drop it in the chat, or you can email me and we'll discuss it. So y'all have a blessed night. Thank you again. Much love to all of you. Until in the morning. Good night.